About to get dangerously cold over the weekend, and with extreme cold comes water main issues, especially in Syracuse. Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
And I'm Megan Coleman. Temperatures will be well below zero, as Pete's been saying. This weekend, in the past, that has spelled disaster for communities where pipes burst, causing issues on the roads and homes that lose access to water.
Our Samantha Costin's in Syracuse tonight, looking into what can be done to prepare for the cold. And Sam, you were at a water main break when the weather wasn't nearly this cold.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. You may remember in November, there was a water main break, and it was right here on West Jefferson Street. It was so bad that some businesses had to shut down for the entire day. They lost out on all of that income. But this winter, the Syracuse Water Department will be taking steps to try and limit the time it takes to fix water main breaks if they do occur. Everyone in Syracuse has a different story, different jobs, different family lives, and different interests. But one thing they all have in common is they depend on these roads and the pipes underneath them not to break.
It's age, it's quality of the old pipes. Sometimes the old pipes don't have the longevity that they should just because the quality isn't as good from 1892.
It's no secret that much of the underground infrastructure in Syracuse is aged. But the Commissioner of Water, Joseph Awald, says the department will be using some of the federal relief money the city received to fix the infrastructure in the next 2 years.
Some of our smaller pump stations that we haven't been able to get to in the recent years, they're going to be full replacements, along with some new water main installation with those pump stations.
While the infrastructure is being updated, the department is also taking preventative measures to avoid water main breaks down the line.
We make sure that all the valves that we can are uncovered from the snow or ice, and the valve boxes are open. So when a break occurs, we can access those valves and minimize the time it takes to shut down the water main when the break occurs.
If you see a water main break that you'd like to report, one option is to utilize CityLine, the app recently launched by the city that lets residents report water issues and track the progress as it's being fixed.
But using the app, it gets you within, a few 10, 20 feet of the actual location of a leak, which helps us, zero in on the problem very quick to address it in a very timely manner.
Now, the city just told me today that they are planning on using $29 million in federal funding for infrastructure updates. About 30% of that is going to go to water infrastructure updates specifically.
It is about to get dangerously cold into tomorrow night with whipping wind, and it will be brutal on Saturday morning as well. CBS 5's Allure Lagarde is with the Live Eye in Syracuse with some information we all need.
Michael, too much time outside in such cold conditions, especially the lows we're going to be seeing this weekend, could possibly lead to frostbite. That's why I asked, what do we need to be wearing in order to stay safe? Central New York is getting ready for a cold front that can create dangerously cold conditions for exposed skin, which could lead to frostbite. But operational manager of the Four Seasons Golf and Ski Center, Bill Hain, says as long as you're bundled up, you can still come out and enjoy the weather and ski.
A warm knit hat would be good. Want to keep your head warm. And, generally mittens instead of gloves on your hands would be good.
Hain makes a career out of the cold days and knows how to bundle up. He says he always makes sure to wear a pair of long underwear and other thick layers under his coat to prepare for these freezing temperatures and encourages skiers to do the same, as frostbite can happen in less than 30 minutes if your skin is exposed to below 0 degrees.
Sometimes, we'll see the starts of it sometimes, with the white spots on the cheeks. And, if we have anybody we see like that, we have them come inside and warm up.
Eric Smith is visiting Syracuse from Miami and says even he is preparing for the cold days coming this weekend.
Multiple layers upon layers upon layers with a down something. And certainly gloves, hat, all of that.
As for locals in the area, they are all too familiar with the cold weather. Denise Kelly says she was only outside for less than 10 minutes in this week's first cold snap and knew it was time to warm up.
Earlier in the week, we had that cold and just scraping off the car. I got back in the car and my fingers were just killing me. And so, I was like, oh my goodness, really cold.
Now I'm wearing my hat, my gloves, my scarf, and a coat to make sure I'm keeping warm. And if I'm not planning on staying inside, if I do end up going outside this weekend, I will definitely be layering up. I'll wear 2 pairs of pants, probably some heat warmers inside of my gloves, and probably a sweater as well under my jacket to make sure that I'm warm. And I highly suggest everyone else make sure that you bundle up as well if you plan on going outside this weekend.
Car tires and what you wear outside are not the only things you need to worry about on these cold winter days. You also need to make sure everything inside your home is ready for these low temperatures as well.
Are you ready for when the cold comes creeping back in again? It can start with checking your pipes so they don't freeze. But if they do, American Red Cross Communications Manager Dan Hartman says there's one key thing not to do to try to fix things.
The one thing we don't want you to do is to use a flame as a source. So we don't want you using a candle or a blowtorch or anything like that. But there are some safe things you can do. You can use a hair dryer. You can put a heating pad around the pipes.
To prevent pipes from freezing, Hartman says to check around your home for other areas where water supply lines are located in unheated areas, like the garage and under kitchen and bathroom cabinets. Syracuse Fire Chief Michael Mods focused on your pipes as well.
If you're in your home and your heat is working properly, just make sure the heat is getting to those areas where they might not be insulated properly.
And for those who leave during the cold winter months, Hartman says don't skimp on heating your home.
I know people like to save money and turn down their heat. Don't turn it below 55. Anything below that it gets a little dicey.
Chief Mods also had a warning about a frequent device used during winter months, space heaters. They can prove disastrous when not used properly.
One of the things we find a lot when we go to house fires is that space heaters are plugged into power strips. So when you do use a space heater for a secondary source of heat, you want to plug it directly into the wall.
He also suggests keeping certain items in your home during snowy weather conditions, like batteries, flashlights, preparation kits, and others.
Sometimes snow backs up against the house and it doesn't vent properly, and then the carbon monoxide backfills in the home. So it's important to have carbon monoxide detectors.
As Chief Mont says, a huge thing to have is extra batteries, not only for flashlights, but to make sure you have the appropriate one for a smoke detector as well.